and experience the choices I choose beyond past experiences. The empowerment is breaking up structures that do not serve the vision of the heart.
Oh, that hits home.
And
So, no, go ahead, Sandra. Sorry.
that's done by taking different, bolder, not, it doesn't necessarily have to be bold, but taking a different action to get a different result. The universe is waiting for me to cooperate with the vision of my heart. Different action. I realized I took responsibility to get done what I needed to get done today. I needed more hours in the day. So instead of going out for my walk around 9 or 10 o'clock, I've already been up. I've had my prayer, my reading. I have a mojo call. I have this call, and I've got to get 2 hours worth of work done before I have to leave out. So I did something different today.
So that you could be headed in the direction that you wanted to be.
Yes, so I could participate in the flow of the river and let the flow participate in the work. I don't have to work as hard when I work with the flow that's going in the direction that I want to go.
Mm-hmm. So, Sandra, somewhere where you were talking, and I can't recapture the points at which it came to me now.
Mm-hmm.
But so for me, when I'm stuck in something and I'm producing a lot of stress, I think, when I'm stuck, then the first thing that I've learned to do now is to just pause and then bring my awareness and then as soon as I find something, is it as soon, or do I just I go from awareness, knowing what I'm aware of, and then in my in that pause and that active act of allowing and breathing into what is there in the stuckness, I then create space around the stuckness. And then I bring my awareness again and say things like, what else is here? What if this and this? And I also, now what I do is I look at, where does my fear lie? And then I allow that. So I go from the experience to the emotion. And then I again bring the awareness again. And I say, what else? What else is there? What else is possible? What could be? And in that, I get the empowerment. And I get enough momentum in myself to continue for a bit. And in some situations, I might feel the stuckness again within a couple of hours. And then I just repeat and repeat and repeat. And in that is, somewhere in that is that whole thing of keeping the end in mind. What do I want? What do I really want to be able to experience in my life, in myself? And it's I find it very, very difficult and fear inducing when I'm dealing with money and my body. And the blessing of that is, I think, that's about as fundamental as our lives get, right? Because it's that for me, it's around whether my body is going to, literally, whether it's going to survive or not. Will it survive when I run out of money? Will it survive what it's got to deal with in this moment? And will I run out of money? And even if I do run out of money, and even if my body, not if, but even when it comes to my body not being able to survive anymore, how do I leave? What do I want in me when I go?
You've taken me places of thinking of my legacy. What character of energy do I want to leave resonating
Mm.
in the lives that I have had the opportunity to engage with?
Mm.
Not concerned with what could be encapsulated on a tombstone,
Mm.
but what will be captured in the hearts for the continuity of life in my children, my friends, in you.
Mm.
That I was not a pleasant person when I didn't have money.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Do I, did I, could people measure me, my values, of how I live, whether I have money or not, whether I have a car or not, whether I have fashionable clothes or not? And so what do we believe? Do what do we believe? What do I believe? I believe that my experiences have taught me some things that in many, many, many ways, I've had more living with less materialism.
Oh.
My heart is bigger. My heart can breathe. My spirit can soar and explore and be curious and say, more, please. This thing of there's a greater, so I'm believing and practicing the knowingness that money is a tool, but the true currency is being who you choose to be and not
Yeah.
measured by the things
Yeah.
that I need.
And sometimes by the things that we think we need.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask the question of you. So it sounds like you've had times of having money and not having money, and the anticipation of not having money. Who is Allison? The core of Allison. And have you not survived all the having and the not having?
Yes, I have. I always used to have a qualification to that, which over time has proved itself over and over again. I keep on surviving.
Yeah.
Yes, which I'm very grateful for. On another level, that survival requires more and more from my family. And it does it at the moment, because I see that and then my attention goes to that instead of increasing my awareness of everything that not only I am, but that we all are.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so then I get stuck
Mm.
because people aren't seeing things in the way that I see them, which gets corroborated by everybody else in my contact group. And then I go into panic.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, we've got to leave our home, and it's the longest move I think that anybody's had to do. No man had to do, been allowed to do. Uh,
I didn't hear
so
you. You said we have to leave our home.
yeah, and that's bringing up a whole
Mhm.
basket of unattended dynamics and
Mhm.
unattended tasks.
Mhm.
And it's not always because of being tardy. It's just because of what, like you said, you realized today you needed more hours in your day to be able to accomplish what you needed to accomplish. And a lot of what there is for us to clean up is because either one or the other physically couldn't be up that day and had to attend to their body.
Mhm.
And it's a mixture because sometimes that's exactly how it is. Other times it could have been different.
Mhm.
But we all get used to our patterns, right?
We all get
So
used to
situations
our
can,
problems. Mm.
yeah, we do.
Somehow, like we all get used to our problems. It's like on wow, 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 like a
Yeah.
like I don't want to run into that. I don't want to live that.
No,
I don't want
no.
to live that, Allison. I don't want to get used to my problems. I do
Yeah.
want to be adaptive, but I don't
Ah,
want it to define my belief in my soul and my character and my beingness.
yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, if you never become aware that that's what's happening, you have no chance of expansion, right?
And what is expansion is sometimes we don't see the new capacity, the new horizon of expansion from where we are, of the letting go process, of the
And
transition.
yeah, but letting go is no more than having awareness and practicing awareness, because if you go into awareness, you then become aware of being aware. And when you're aware of being aware, what is there? What's in that space? And there's another whole universe in that space. So, as much as our patterns can bring us into stuckness, our patterns can also take us into expansion. And for me, it's been a relearning of a pattern that I think we all had in our innocence,
Mm.
for as long as we were able to have that in our childhood. And your experience of being rich. We have in our social circle, we also have a single mom, and she told us a story of when her kids were little and she was a widow, where she was widowed very early on in her life, trying to manage. And so she baked and, made all food at home. And her darling little boy said to her one day, when she'd finished baking the bread, he looked, "Wow, Mom, just look at this bread," and stuck his finger in the jam jar and was going on about how delicious the jam was. And he looked at her and said, "Wow, we're rich." And there's a part of us that can look at that and say, "Well, no, what do kids know? They don't know anything about having to deal with the world. They are protected and taken care of by adults." And then when we grow up, we presume that we have to take care of ourselves. And yes, we do. There is more agency required from us.
Yes.
But why did we lose the understanding or the knowledge or the experience that life does take care of us ultimately, with a lot of bumps? And we get a lot of stepping stones with those bumps, depending on our capacity in that moment to see the bumps as an opportunity to reveal something that we had never considered before, that is the pot of gold. That gets us, to the next one in a really amazing, beautiful way.
Mm. So in that kind of awareness that we're okay today, we've been taken care of, we've
Mm. Mm.
been able to enjoy the abundance of our own washcloth and
Mm.
our sticky hands in the jam. And even too, as the mother stood across the table watching her son enjoy this abundantness from his view, wasn't the universe taking care of her too with
Mm-hmm.
her agency?
Mm-hmm.
And so herein lies how I go forward with this kind of awareness. And thank you for this space and this place, because there are some things coming down the pike. Eventually, for all of us, we've got some things coming down the pike. Will I go down the pike with fear, with limitation that it's not enough money, and trepidation of the circumstances? Do I look at it with the angst and anxiety and scariness and wondering about how people are going to act or respond or this, a little blah, blah, blah? Or do I go through with agency and grace that I carry the right vibration, that I hone in on my character of being in this universe and know that whatever will be, I can choose anxiety or I can choose flow, because
Mm.
the way we think it tears me up to give into being afraid all the time.
Mm. Mm. She said the other day he brought something in from a psychologist from, I think, I don't know when he died, but it's probably about 25 years ago now. And his name is Gerald Jampolsky, and he used to say, you choose love or you choose fear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I don't presume that I know how it is for you, but in my mind, it's like, so packing has to be done. Some things you can take with you, some things you can't take with you. Just the whole transitional process that things have come to this point.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to those forks in the road like that, where we feel like we don't have control, but we really do if we are as we call ourselves to believe. Whatever we do it in love, packing a
Yes.
box,
Yeah.
discarding things, being thankful for lightening your load, being thankful for to have arrived at another transition in life.
But I mean, that was that for me, that wasn't a problem. And I'm not saying that I could do it perfectly and with absolute abandon.
Mm-hmm.
But where I got stuck is that family members around me have been resisting this for 6 months now. And I, so I kind of ride with the resistance for a bit, and and then I point out something, And then I've got to wait 6 weeks for that to then be owned. Anyway, so my problem, as I perceive it, has been the cooperation that I felt I need.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And, we have a little bit of a one step forward and then we have 2 steps back.
Mhm.
And so that then I realized, well, time is running out. I have to get going with this now.
Mhm.
And how do I do it? Because whatever I suggest is not met, it's not agreed with. And so I'm dealing in very close quarters with something that's not cooperating with what the world is saying and what the rules of, the game of life are saying. This has to be done. And if you're going to resist it all the time, you're going to land up in a big mess.
Mhm.
And I kind of feel like I've got enough mess in my life. I
Mhm.
don't want more.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right. But it's, I mean, I can laugh about it now because I've, spent the whole weekend like, okay, this is not working. I have to find another way to work with this.
Mhm.
And then I had a client yesterday. And in our working with what she needed to work with, in my head, I was going along to saying to myself, why aren't you putting this into practice? So there was my gift.
Hey, Mom. You on the way? Sorry, family.
It's okay.
It is a real challenge when we know we are co-creators. And those that are also agents in the co-creation are not cooperating.
Yes. Not doing things in the way that we think they should be doing.
Yeah.
And in the ways they think they should be.
Yeah, I think that's implicit in the realization that what we're seeing or what we're requiring is not what they're seeing and what they're requiring from themselves. Right?
So then do we ask, what do you see? What do you perceive? And I know sometimes people don't want to think about stuff or face stuff. This is a quick little sidebar. So I saw a film and it was talking about cows and bulls. A storm is enraging. Cows run from the storm, and the storm comes upon them because they certainly cannot outrun them. And so they're in the storm. The storm overtakes them. They're running from the storm overtakes them. It's going north, they're going north. And so they endure the northboundness and the devastation of being in the storm. They're wrecked, they're thrown, they're dead. Here comes the storm. There stands the bull. The storm is coming and passing over and coming.
Mm.
The bull runs into the storm. And so as the storm is going north, the bull is running south. And it's in the storm for a very short time.
That's a great analogy.
I thought it was powerful.
Yeah, it is very powerful.
You get through the storm and survive it, facing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even if the storm does overtake it, so I think you don't have to suffer the death. It's instantaneous.
Yeah.
But the cow suffers so much.
Yeah.
And the bull is like, boom, sunshine, I'm good.
And that's the allowing.
That's what?
The allowing.
Yeah. So as in relationships, someone said something to me and it triggered me. It triggered me. And then I said, do I want that to be the foundation that I continue to grow a relationship forward? And so to face it, it could either demolish the relationship or it could grow it, or it could just
Mhm.
neutralize it.
Mm-hmm. Positive, negative, neutral.
Mhm. So I could have been quiet and let another event occur or any event occur, but it would always be on the foundation of how do they really feel?
Mm.
And I don't like what they displayed before of how they really feel. And I don't want to experience that feeling. So I was like, hey, and I called it out. You know, I didn't even, and it's not that I didn't care, but I have to care about how I feel more because nobody can work how I feel like I can. And
Exactly.
I learned not to give people my power.
Mm. Mm.
So I just put it out there. However, hey, however it lands, that's how it lands.
Mm.
But you're not going to be in a room and fart, and I'm supposed to just smell it. And you not even say, excuse me. And then it becomes a norm.
Mm-hmm.
That was just an analogy, but
Mm-hmm.
we treat people how to treat us.
Treat exactly. We teach people, hey? Yeah.
Right. That's it. We teach people how to treat us. And we have to be willing to stand and get whatever fallout it is. And so, but they own that. Like I own my stuff. They own their stuff, but I don't own their stuff.
Mm.
So they get to feel how they get to feel too.
Mm.
But I'm not going to stuff my feelings when they don't stuff theirs. And even if they do, I'm not going to stuff mine.
Mm.
So I faced the storm, resolution, cultivated relationship, a little pruning here and there on both ends, and the garden is not being strangled.
Mm.
When you said you spoke about being aware of where you give your power. So we give our power away or grant our power to something else. Then I had something I hadn't seen before was where we can take power from others.
Mm.
Mm,
And that happens through connection.
We can take away someone else's free thought or choice or reaction, or in a way their freedom.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm challenged by what you're saying. We can take away someone else's power. I'm having a challenge with that. So I'm thinking like with slavery, we can take away someone else's power. But did we really take their power away? We dominated the environment that exercises. They still have the power.
Yep. For
But we
sure.
dominated the environment.
Yep. Controlled is another slighter, lighter version of it. Yeah. And that is like slavery in that sense is on the far extreme. And it can exist in relationships as well. It's any sort of control. It's like
manipulation.
Yeah. Manipulation. Oh, you give it all sorts of words. Point
abuse
is
another one.
Abuse.
Yeah.
But at any point, they can still exercise their power.
Yep.
It might surprise the one that's doing the controlling, but they, but we don't know our power. Again, it's belief, right? You don't know that you have power, that you have choice, that you have self-agency, that you don't have to put up with that crap. But then again, we stay controlled by the conditions of the environment, of needing money and independency from what we're engaged, what we've given our power to. I'm sorry, Jesse.
Well, it's you circled right into it. It's like where we give our power away. Where we give our choice, our freedom, our perspective, like where do we give that away? We can give it away to our beliefs, to our culture, to our background, to our obviousness, to our automatics. Like we can give it to others, right? Hierarchies. It's like there's the act of it is always there, one way or the other, to different degrees, and we're not always aware of it.
Yeah.
True.
Well, that's the fun part, is becoming aware of it. But then then the storm shows up, and for some it can be as that storm shows up, and then I would have to admit I'm wrong. So it's like it's like always there in front of you, one way or the other. And it's like if we don't face the storm to go through it, the storm will continue to show up.
Yeah.
If the same storm will continue to show up.
Yeah.
Now, if we face it, go through it, we get a new storm. That's the joy of life. You can either fight the same one or fight a different one all the time.
Yeah, but when you fight a different one, there's expansion in between that takes place. But if you're fighting the same one, you never get a gap for expansion. Because you're just in the same, excuse my language, you're just in the same shit all over again.
Yep.
All the time.
No growth would be kind of that outcome.
Yeah.
So
You're-
then we have to change our engagement, change our action,
Yeah.
break out of our comfort zone, even though the zone that we call our comfort zone is more of our familiarity zone.
Yeah.
And do something
Different.
different.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's at that hour for me. Thank you so much for the discourse. And
Thank
I'm
you, Cinderella. It was good.
something different. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jesse.
Have
have a
a
blessed
great-
day, Cinderella.
Have a wonderful day.
You
beautiful
too.
souls.
Yeah. Bye all. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Have a good day, Heinz.
And you too,
Bye.
Hassan. You too, Jesse. Bye bye.
You too, Heinz. Till next time.